So we talked a little bit about this in our podcast, but I figured I respond to some of the videos of, or at least what Greg posted on his YouTube. So to give context, though, for those who don't know, Chris Hansen has offered a hand several times to Greg, Onision, Grooming Onion, creepy groomer, or alleged groomer, to do an interview. In one of those cases, Greg was telling him that he has to pay him, I think it was like $35,000 or something to that extent, in order to get an interview, which any normal person would be like, fuck that. So after, and I'm still like kind of scratching my brain on how this worked, because Keemstar was able to get an interview, which you guys have already heard my thoughts on that. And at this point, Chris Hansen has finally convinced Greg to do an interview. But when it comes to an interview, and I want to point out that this isn't like some debate, which is how Greg treats all of these conversations, he is already quote-unquote claiming victory over Chris Hansen. And I'm just gonna say that usually works so well for individuals like him. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and respond to his piece of shit videos.
What's up, you guys? Today, Mr. Hansen agreed to an interview.
I have a feeling it wasn't Chris that agreed, but to an extent you agreed. Mostly to try to boost or give in to your pathetic ego.
I'm laughing because this guy, he released this thing where he said initially, I said, hey, I don't want you to profit. Like, that was my main goal. I don't want him to make money off of it because I don't think he should be making money off all this garbage.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready!
I love that this is coming from the exact guy that made money off of drama from, his exes and people that he disassociated with, and constantly made money off of people's pain. I guess, like every other situation that you're in, Greg, the rule applies to everyone but you.
Pretending to be a hero. So I straight up said, yo, come on my Twitter. Let's do a live stream on my Twitter. And yeah, you won't make profit and we'll get this out of the way. And he said no, publicly. He's like, I'm not going on your Twitter. You know what he said? He said, I'm not going on your porn site, is what he said. And I was just like, I just started laughing when I read that.
You do realize that what you're trying to set up was on a paid channel. And more likely people that would want to watch the interview to see what happens would have had to pay to view that interview. So, and I find it funny that you're telling him do not profit, but you're gonna go ahead and profit off the interview anyways. And by the way, yeah, your only channel is a porn site to an extent. Not a very good one, but it's a porn site nonetheless. Get over yourself.
Because nobody said go on my porn site, old man. That's like crazy, you know? Nobody said go on a porn site, and he's like, I'm not going on your porn site. I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody mentioned. Why are you thinking about that? You know? And I kind of wonder about, what this guy's state of mind is.
I think people are more concerned about yours.
I got a lot of things that I want to ask him. A lot, actually. It's like a novel worth of things I want to ask him, which is why I want to do the interview with him, because I'm curious about the guy. There's a lot of things about him that I think are ridiculous, and questions need to be asked. He needs to answer for them.
Now, here's a question, and I'm sure that this is gonna be like any other situation where people have tried to talk to you. Are you just going to actually have a conversation with him, or are you going to try to attack his character? By which trying to devalue what he has to say, which is practically what you do in almost every situation where people, have strong concerns about your behavior.
Specifically about this fake investigation, he compared me to Weinstein, and I thought that was pretty funny because there's no comparison at all. But he did that, which was an extreme gesture, and I think he said it took 10 years. And I'm like, oh, so basically you could have no results to everything you said about me for 10 years and you'll be fine. That's what he's doing. You guys realize that, right? Like, he's just saying, like, okay, so how do I get these people to not harass me about the fact that this guy hasn't been arrested, nothing's happened to him, he's completely fine? How do I explain that? I know, I'll just say investigations take a long time.
Yeah, they actually do. And if you think that they're done in a day, then you are a dumb piece of shit. An investigation isn't going to happen all at once. It's called an investigation for a reason. It takes time. It takes, people gathering evidence on a situation or a person that has done something wrong. Make sure that they have all the evidence to either convict them or, not do anything about it.
Because the problem is, when you say that this person's a monster, this person's terrible, this person's awful, and you hype someone up this much and nothing happens to them, you look like a liar.
How does that work? If he says that investigation takes time, then the investigation takes time. That they're at this point, like, I feel dumber listening to this fucker. It takes time mean it's going to take time. That doesn't mean that he's a liar because you aren't arrested immediately. It just means the investigation is taking its time, making sure that everything is, or at least what they need to convict your ass.
So now he's saying, oh, you guys gotta wait 10 years. And that's hilarious to me because it just falls in line with everything I've been saying, which is that he's full of crap, he's been lying to you, he's been collecting money on the behalf of fake victims.
The irony is they're only fake because, well, they're against Greg. Now, when it comes to Greg's videos, there's two others I'm not going to respond to because they're basically the same thing with him boasting about how he has some victory over Chris Hansen, yada yada yada. We've heard it a million fucking times. But I'm just gonna say this. I have a feeling that, and this is just my prediction, like my final predictions of how the interview process is gonna go when it comes to trying to get Chris Hansen, or at least have Chris Hansen interview Greg. I can see it going like this. What's gonna happen is Chris Hansen, he's going to be ready, he's going to record the interview, and Greg isn't going to show up. In fact, if anything, he's going to be on his only channel, whatever his porn site, as Chris Hansen has so colorfully called it, and he's going to claim victory when Chris Hansen doesn't show up. And more likely, let's say if Greg does do the interview, if he posts it on YouTube, Greg will try to shut him down and claim the video, or at least try to strike him for that particular interview if everything isn't to his liking. And I want to point out too that there's maybe once or twice Greg has altered the interview videos. A good example is the one with Joy Sparkle BS, where he tried to make her seem completely crazy and didn't run off like a complete pansy, but he has edited the interview videos. So when it comes down to this individual, yeah, I doubt Greg is going to keep his word about the interview. I doubt he's going to be honest. As he claims himself to be. he's going to do something shady and then try to make it seem like, oh, Chris Hansen is a liar, Chris Hansen is a coward, and so on. As we stated in the podcast last night, this shit just needs to end. Greg, unfortunately, because he can't change himself, just this whole thing needs to end. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys can, please comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on social media. Links are in the description if you guys want to follow MJ, Aden, and Magi on some of their gaming streams. Go check them out on Twitch and YouTube, as well as follow some of our other content like the Let's Watches and Let's Plays that I'm producing, as well as other stuff that we produce on a daily basis, as well as check out our weekly podcast, which is at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays. This is Rob of Novakast signing off. Have a good one and take care. Peace.